Hi, in this video we're going to be having a look at this Audio Pro smart speaker. So this is Bluetooth and internet connected, and somebody sent me this ages ago and I can't remember exactly who sent us it now. I think the problem with it is the power supply. So they've already had a go at repairing it, but it was unsuccessful, so they sent me it to see if I fancied having a go. These are the parts that they changed in it previously, and they also sent me some spares as well, so let's see if we can do any better. So I think this has got something like Amazon Alexa in as well. So to take it apart, it looks like we need to remove these screws around the outside, so I'll just do that. Right, that's all the screws removed. So what I might do is see if I can unplug these connectors, see if I can get this out of the way, and then we'll have a quick look over this board just to see if we can see anything obvious. Right, so I've got the board out, so let's have a look, see if we can see anything obvious. Let's just zoom down a bit on the power supply area. I can see a lot of horrible glue there, round about here. That diode's a bit of an angle. Looks like we've got a, is that 0.1 ohm resistor there. That's the switching MOSFET for switching the transformer here. And that's the PWM or switching IC that controls that. We've got a bridge rectifier, that's the smoothing capacitor. And we've got a bit of filtering and a mains fuse. So this is where the power comes in. This is the output side there, so it looks like we've got two output diodes coming from the transformer. And a 22 ohm resistor there. That looks like a TL431. That goes to the opto isolator here for feedback to control the power supply. And all this stuff looks like the RF side of things. So there might be one for Bluetooth, one for Wi-Fi. That's more than likely the Bluetooth one. So unless one's, because it says here mic 1 and 2, so unless one's like the Alexa part of it, and one's the Wi-Fi or something, I don't know. That connector looks like a bit of a wonk as well. So this looks like the amplifier. So it looks like a class D because I've got the filters on the output here going to the speakers. Looks like possibly a little DC to DC converter here as well. So that could be something like 5 volts to 3 volts possibly. Right, I'll get it under the microscope and we'll start checking some components. Got the board under the microscope, so I think the first thing we'll check is this mains fuse. So I'm just going to flip the board over just to get to the back. It's just across these points here. That seems okay. So let's check these diodes. So those seem okay. Let's just check this current sense resistor. That seems okay as well. Do we have a shorted MOSFET? No. Let's check this diode. Now that could be because there's components in circuit with it. That might be something, actually. If I just go into resistance there, we've got a 47 ohm resistor just above it there, so it might be that. Yeah, it could just be this 47 ohm resistor we've got here. It just might be in parallel with that, so that might be okay. While we're on resistance, let's just check some of these. So that should be 510 ohms, and I don't think that's right. 24K, that one's okay. Well, that one doesn't seem right. I'm measuring K on that. Could be just that then. Let's see what this one is. Let's try and refocus the microscope a little bit. Now, I'm not sure what reading that one's supposed to be because I can't quite make the number out there. So I'll have to look that one up. So those seem okay, but that one definitely doesn't look right. I'm not sure where that one goes. So I can't see any of that. I can't see any of that trace on that side of it. Now it looks like it goes to that leg there. It's hard to make out the trace there, you can't see it very well. Well, that's interesting, because if the power comes in here, it will go through that resistor there before it feeds this network, which powers up the switching IC by the look of it on that pin there. So it looks like this feeds this dropper resistor network here, which then powers up this IC. So if that's open circuit, then this IC isn't going to be getting any power, so it's not going to be switching. Let's just keep checking, see if we can see anything else. Looks like we've got a 5.1 ohm resistor there, but I don't know whether we'll be able to read that for all of this glue stuff. Yeah, that seems okay. I'm not sure what 01C is because I'm not really familiar with those numbers. I know it's some kind of other code, but I can never remember what those are. And let's just check this diode here. I'll try to. Well, I don't seem to be getting a reading on that, but that could be because of the glue here, so I might have to remove that to find out. Looks like we've got a transistor here, so we'll check that. I'll just flip the board over. Now let's go into diode check. Well, I'm getting readings across all three legs, which normally you shouldn't, but there could be other stuff in the circuit that we're measuring. But it doesn't appear to be shorted, so it's probably okay. Well, the only thing I found up till now is that resistor there, this 510 ohm. I've got another diode there, let's just check that one. Seems okay. I'm not sure about that resistor there because I can't see any number on it. So it looks more like a ferrite bead, so I'm just wondering if it's that resistor. I'll see if I can find one of those and we'll try replacing it. I'm just going to add a bit of flux first. I'm just going to add a bit of fresh solder as well, just to make it easier to remove. I've got a replacement one here. I think that should do. Let's just see what reading we get across that now then. That's better. Well, that's one problem fixed. Now, I don't know whether this is going to repair the actual item or not, but I think we might get the dim bulb tester out and then see if we get any voltages out of it. Right, I've got the dim bulb tester set up, and all it is just an incandescent light bulb wired in series with the live going to this socket here. And what it should do is limit the current to this board here. So if there's a short on here, it should just make the bulb light up. So I'm just going to try and angle this slightly away from me. So, yeah. Alright, let's see what happens when we switch it on then. And not a lot. Okay. Let's just see if there's any voltage in this mains cap. Yes, there is. So there's voltage going to the mains cap, so that's good. At least it didn't blow up. So I've switched it on again now. Let's just see if we get any voltage on the output. That would be a no. So there's still something wrong with it. So I might get it back under the microscope and just see if there's anything else I've missed. Well, I've checked all of the components and I can't see anything else wrong. So what I thought I'd try and do, so I want to check if this chip's actually oscillating. So I've got it connected to the bench power supply, which I've got set to 18 volts at 100 milliamp. And if we get the scope here, so the second pin on the top here, pin 7, that's the voltage into the chip there. So that's the supply to the chip. And this pin here is the gate driver pin. So we should get some oscillation on there. And we're not getting anything at all. It's just dead. So I'm not sure whether that resistor being blown, because this is actually ground here, and that resistor's pulling that voltage down. So with that being gone, I'm not sure whether too much voltage has gone into this chip on the sense pin, on the current sense pin, and whether that's caused the chip to fail. So I might change this IC and then we'll see if we get any oscillation on the output of it on this pin here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of flux to this first, and then I think I might just use some low melt solder just to get this off. I think it'll just be quicker. Plus there's a few capacitors here, and if I start using the hot air I might melt those or make them explode or something. Let's see if I can get some tweezers in there to get this off. Right, that's that off. I'm just going to use a bit of solder wick to clean those pads off now. I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean with some IPA and a little cotton bud. Just going to add a little bit of solder to the first pin here. Just going to put a bit of flux on that. And we'll get the new chip into position. Too much on that one. Let's get that with a bit solder wick in a sec. think that should do. Right, let's see if we get any oscillation now then. So I'm just going to go on to the output pin now, switch it on. And we did actually get something there, but only for a brief moment. Let's try that again. But it is actually doing more than what the other chip was doing, so I'm not sure whether just to plug this in now and try it and see what happens. Got the dim bulb tester set up, got it plugged in, so there's either going to be a pop or we'll make it a light on, or let's see if it works. And it still doesn't seem to do anything. Let's just see if there's any voltage on the output capacitors at all. Well, there might have been something there, look. I'll try switching that on again. Ooh. Just can't get my probes on properly there, just with this being on, I don't want to... It looks like we've got voltage. Right, I think we'll try putting it back together and then we'll see if it works. But at least we've got voltage there now, which we didn't have before. I think there was 2 voltages on this actually. Let's see if we can find out where the other one is. Because there was 2 outputs, wasn't there? So there was an output, I think, here. So let's switch it on again. Let's try and get a ground. Yeah, so we're getting 20 volts there. And about 8.5 out of there. Right, excellent. I'll just unplug this and we'll get this out of the way. I'll just see if there's any voltage in this mains cap. Yeah, it's rapidly dropping, so it's okay. So I think I'll start assembling it and then we'll see what happens when I put it all back together. Nearly back together. Just got these little Wi-Fi antennas to go back on. That's it. Right, just the screws to go back in. And the last one. Right, let's plug it in and see if it does anything. Let's plug it into the dim bulb tester again. Ah, looks like we've got a little light there flashing. A Wi-Fi light. I've got no idea how you use this. Bluetooth. Oh, well, it made a noise. Right, I'll see if I can connect a phone or something to it then. Well, I managed to get it paired to the phone, so if I just hit play here. Hi, in this video we're going to be trying to fix up this Devoom Pixu 64. And what it is, it's a digital display that can display things such as cryptocurrency. It seems to be playing on Bluetooth fine. Well, to connect it to Wi-Fi, you need to download an app and register, and I'm not going to bother doing that. It's just a bit of too much of a mess on there. But what I can still do, if I say the keyword, so if I say Alexa,
the speaker has lost internet connection.
So that is working and it is responding to it. It's just obviously not connected to the internet. So this appears all to be working. So a nice little fix on this one then. And that's the 2 dead parts there, little tiny resistor and the switching IC. So I think the guy who sent us it had pretty much done all of the hard work, and it was just mainly that little tiny resistor causing the problem, which then took out the switching IC. So nice little fix on that one then. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.